Very good morning, everyone. Saturday the 21st of December. This is my pre-Christmas video. It's just after 7:15, so it's beginning to get lighter. We've had the darkest night, or is that tonight? The longest night. Anyway, it's quite light. There's no glorious sunrise, it's just getting lighter. Anyway, this video I thought today, because it's the last rugby match of the year, not the season, the year, and we have a whole week off, which is a glorious thought, particularly the Saturday before Christmas, when actually the big Christmas getaway, apparently 30 million journeys are going to be made. Don't go out into the motorways unless you absolutely have to, and we have to. And there's no coach later on today, not that I'd go on it anyway, but it means the team have all got to get their own way there with the great British getaway. So it's going to be fun today. I'm looking forward to the end of the day, the end of the afternoon, when the match is over and I can start my little holiday. Anyway, what I wanted to do today was just give you a little idea of what's involved in the life of a sports therapist pre-rugby match. What I need to have, what I need to do, what I need to be thinking. I'm obviously not doing that now because I'm walking the dogs. But when I get home, and before I leave for the rugby match, I will put something together just so you get a little idea of those people that you see on the pitch running on when there's an injury, when someone takes the knee, when someone falls over, people that are running on with their bags. That's me. So I just want to show you the bags basically. So I'm going to carry on walking. I've got my lovely Hugo. Yes, my lovely Hugo. And Mabel's off in the distance somewhere, don't know where. But when I get back home and I've had my coffee and I look somewhat decent, I'll talk to you about the pre-rugby prep. In the meantime, a bientôt. So I'm all showered. It is now 9:45. So I last spoke to you at 7:15. It's now 9:45 and I have about 15 minutes before I need to leave. We have, as I mentioned, the holiday traffic starting today, and I have got to get from Ramsgate to Maidstone for our match, which starts at 2 o'clock, but we meet at the visiting club, we meet at midday. So it should only take an hour, but I'm going to leave 2 hours, just in case the traffic's appalling. But the preparation, here we go, the preparation for rugby, here we go. We train for 2 evenings a week, so Tuesdays and Thursdays we train. And if we have a home match, that means that I can get everything in order, ready to go for Saturday. But if there's anything that I've forgotten, at least I'm in my own space where I can go, oh, forgot that. So if we're on an away match, what I also have to do is prepare for, we have 3 teams that go out on a Saturday normally. This weekend there's only 2 teams and they're both going to Maidstone this afternoon. But I still have to prepare the tape and the first aid bags for whichever teams are going out. So on Thursday night, that has to be done. On Thursday night, I have to kind of like think forwards to what's going on Saturday. And on Saturday, so I load my car up on a Thursday night, knowing that I'm not going back to the club, so I have to remember everything. And sometimes it's best to be over-prepared rather than under-prepared, because there's nothing worse than getting to your rugby club on an away day and realising that you've forgotten something, and it's probably the one thing that you'll need. This time of year, kit, and I must say, when I worked at the French clubs, and I worked, as you know, because my title is Escape from Rural France, or the Ward in France. Because I lived in France for so long, I worked with several French rugby clubs. And what I never got from them, and I always wanted during the winter months, was the long rugby winter coats. And everyone was wearing them, and I was never given one. So I had to stand on the pitch side, freezing with whatever coat I could come up with from home. But luckily, this year at my club, I have been given my full-length rugby coat, and it is like a sleeping bag. When you put it on, It goes from head to toe and it covers you up, and it's like a sleeping bag, and it's absolutely amazing. And for years, I'll take it off, for years I had coat envy, but now I don't have coat envy. Of course, the obligatory gloves, which today is going to be quite a challenge because it is cold and I haven't worn gloves until this week, but I bought a pair of gloves because it's really cold. But I have to wear surgical gloves. So surgical gloves I feel are going to go underneath, followed by my gloves, and then if I get an emergency I can slip these gloves off and I've got my surgical gloves on underneath. We'll see. But the key thing that I have to have, and I've forgotten it, it's over here. Just 1 second. Bear with me, I'm coming back, I'm coming back. Because we have to wear the kit colours, and as you see, I've got my kit colours on today. A beanie hat. One of the most important things to wear when you're standing on the rugby pitch and not moving around, well, you are moving around, but not as fast as the players, is a beanie. Keeps these warm because the wind, because it's such big open spaces, the wind that comes in and you can stand and literally freeze. So one of the best things that I did one match, and we've got these tracky bottoms and they are great for the summer, but they've got no insulation for the winter. So the best thing I ever bought, pair of long johns, which I haven't put on yet. So long johns, followed by my trackies, followed by the beanie, followed by the long sleeping bag coat. I'm set for my match, but I need my kit. And here I have, this is for just the first team, this bag. Not plugging anyone, we just bought it. But in this bag, and if I redirect the camera, maybe you might be able to see actually what's in there. So this, excuse my pudgy fingers, all therapists have pudgy fingers, is the taping bag. So players pre-match, they like to get strapped and taped up. Now, one of the things that when I joined the rugby club was I'm not a taper. I don't want to tape. My resources are wasted by taping. But as the season has gone on, and I have learned to tape, and it seems that there's some specific taping that people come to me for. So I now do some taping and some pre-match warm-up. So I have a bit of a mix of the two. But the first thing we use if we're taping is this sticky stuff. So you spray this onto the player's skin, and then within about a second it becomes really sticky, and then that enables you to be able to stick down any for example the padding that we use. So I know today, sorry, the tripod has got a loose leg and it's decided to not behave itself, so I'm going to put my beanie down and the tripod should, but it's not, play ball. And I can't hold it in one hand. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know why. Why does a tripod with 3 legs that are all evenly spaced not balance? Look, it's not balancing. So if I go like that, maybe that will hold it. Let's be careful. Fingers crossed. So yeah, we have padding. And this is really good stuff. And I'm using a lot of this at the moment because we're sort of halfway through the rugby season and people are getting battered and bruised. And between matches, they're not kind of healing up. But in order for them to be able to keep operating, we then pad them out to protect these minor injuries from becoming bigger injuries. So we put the spray on, then we put the pad on, and then we start taping it into place with this. So we use oodles and oodles of this. So there's lots of different tapes. This little one here is mainly for fingers and thumbs. This is for back, neck and shoulders. And then this one, which is my personal favourite, is a stretchy adhesive tape that is good for the lower limbs, and so for knee supports. So once you've done your sticking and padding and taping, then you wrap this around a few times and it secures whatever you're trying to do, secures it in place and stabilizes it ready for the game. One of the key things that we always need to have in a rugby club is Vaseline. Really important, and if you don't take Vaseline, it's like hell's frozen over the way that the players look at you. What do you mean we can't? And it's almost like we can't function without Vaseline. So Vaseline is an absolute go-to. We then have bandages and thicker tapes, and there's lots of sort of different varieties of tapes that we can have. And one of the things we also have, or I say we, it's only me, but we have sprays. I have sprays. So I have a deep heat spray and I have a cold spray. Now they're always in the kit bag, but the kit bag follows me from the changing rooms onto the pitch, and I kind of leave it there. I run around with my first aid bag, but the kit bag is there ready for any sort of incidentals that I might need. But these are also in my first aid bag. One of the things we also need a lot of at some point, sometimes never, is this. This is genius. It's instant ice. And sometimes you just need it just for a quick burst of cold where the cold spray doesn't really work. So you just literally squeeze the bag, pop the bag, and this bag goes freezing cold for like an hour. It's genius. I don't know who made it up, but it's brilliant and we use a lot of it. One of the things as well, and what I do pre-match, just before the players are about to go out, I walk around the team in the changing room with this Vapo Rub, and everyone takes a piece of this and stuffs it up their nose to keep their airways clear, because the physical exertion is just enormous on a rugby match. So there's always Vapo Rub, and of course the obligatory pair of scissors to cut all the tapes. So that's basically what I have in a kit bag. And then it comes down to, I put that down, it's a bit like Blue Peter this, here's one I prepared earlier. And I prepared it on Thursday, so it is a bit prepared earlier, isn't it? Is my first aid bag. Now this is packed to the rafters, and this is my #1 go-to tool that you just don't leave home without. And this follows me everywhere on the pitch. So once the game has started, this is slung over my shoulder, and what I basically do is wherever the ball is during the match, that's where I am. So I'm backwards and forwards, up and down, up and down, up and down for 80 minutes. And one thing about sort of lower league rugby is when it comes to half time, I was thinking, oh, we'll get 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to sort of breathe and regroup and do everything. No, lower league rugby only has a 5-minute break at half time. So it's really fast. And I've got several players that hand me their energy drinks or this or that or their energy things. So I have to remember who's giving me what. So at half time I can dish all of that out. First thing that I have on this bag, which I have to carry at all times, as do anybody else that is a first aider, is the cervical collar. I hope that I never have to use it, because if I've had to use it, then it's generally something catastrophic has happened. And touch wood, fingers crossed, I've never had to put that in place so far, and I hope I never have to. So the first aid bag. This is my largest asset to what I do. So we have in here, we have trauma packs. These are for the bigger traumas where you need to actually do something on pitch that is while you're waiting for perhaps the emergency services, which a couple of times in the past when I've had to, early on in the season, one of our players on the third team dislocated his knee and snapped his patella tendon. That was horrific. There is nothing I can do, because as a therapist you are not allowed to try and reduce the knee back into place. So what you have to do is stabilise the knee, make him comfortable and wait for the ambulance to come. You're not allowed to do anything else. So it's basic first aid that you can only do on these players that are really badly injured. So when we phoned the ambulance, they said it could be a 2-hour wait. You know, the guy's on the pitch, the game's been stopped, and they're saying it's a 2-hour wait. There's no I mean, that's the NHS these days. So we ended up, against popular advice and against the guidelines, we bundled him into a car and drove him to a hospital closer to home, because we were miles away from home. So it made sense to get him to a hospital closer to home. But we shouldn't do that. We should wait for an ambulance. But when you've got a 2-hour wait, they put you in a really awkward position. So we have, once more, in the first aid bag, we have Vaseline, we have Vapo Rub, we have ice, we have lots and lots of swabs for cuts and bruises, always have swabs. We have antiseptic for light cuts, we have more antiseptic for more light cuts. One of the things the players are kind of obsessed with at this club is electrical tape. And this secures all the bandaging, but they go through it like there's no tomorrow. So I always keep a spare, just in case they're just a bit too frivolous with it. So I've always got some spare during a match. A lot of times these go over the shoe. So their laces are not secured, so their laces are flapping about. So they'll wrap the electrical tape under their boot and around the laces so that the laces don't come undone during a match. Very clever. Scissors, of course. More bandages, more hot and cold, and a go-to as well, saline. I have to have lots of saline in the first aid bag for wounds that need clearing out. And I saw someone with an injury that I wasn't taking care of, but I went over to see what I was doing, and they'd wrapped this injury up. It was absolutely filthy. They just put a bandage around it, and there was mud and dirt and grit. And it's like, let's clean this out first so that at least the wound is clean. So there's always saline in the bag. And one thing that I have, that again, one of those things that I hope, a bit like the cervical collar, that I hope I never have to use, is a stethoscope. If I have to use a stethoscope, then something has gone catastrophically wrong. And this is, I carry, but I just hope that I never have to use it. And of course, one of the things, again, is we have to have our surgical gloves. I don't normally wear white ones, I normally wear black ones, but they're in a different pocket and I haven't opened it. So yeah, I have to use surgical gloves. As soon as the match starts, I'm in my surgical gloves, and then they don't come off until the end of the match, which sometimes is quite difficult, because if you're taping someone through at certain points during the match, if their taping has come off and they need to have their tape reinforced, as soon as you start engaging the sticky of the tape, it sticks to your surgical gloves, and then you're having a tug of war. You don't want to rip the surgical glove, so do you take the surgical glove off? Who knows? Anyway, that's what we do. So that is my first aid bag. There it is. And that is the preparation I need for my rugby away matches. Also in the car is my treatment table, which it is too heavy and too cumbersome for me, but that has to come with me wherever I go. So when we arrive at an away venue, you have to introduce yourselves and then find out if there is what space they've made available to us. And some clubs are really well equipped and they give us 2 dressing rooms and a physio room, which is brilliant. But there are more times that I'm set up in the shower. I'm set up in the shower. So the guys have their changing rooms, which often are really small, because some of these clubs, the club houses and the facilities were built a long time ago. So they're really sort of cramped facilities. So I'll go into the shower area where I'll do my pre-match, and that is taping and some pre-match muscle work, soft tissue work on the players that need it. And the players that I've kept my eye on during the week of training that I know need that little bit of extra attention just before the match. So I'll do that. And then obviously, as soon as just before the match starts, I should say, I then disassemble everything, because then there's a rush for the showers at the end, because everybody wants to get to the bar. And today, because it's the last one before Christmas, I should imagine everybody wants to get home. So I disassemble everything, and that gives me a little bit of speed at the end of the match as well. At the end of the match, I just pop into the dressing rooms, I untape anyone that needs taping, just check for any injuries, and if there's anything that needs my attention, I'll deal with it, and then failing that, I will then just get into my car and come home. So that's it, the last one of the year, and it's can't come too soon. I'm exhausted. The rugby season's been full on. We managed to get one Saturday a month off, which is lovely. So this is effectively, but we always train, where even if we don't play on a Saturday, when we have that Saturday off, we still train during the week. But this is the first week this year that we've actually got a full week off, which I just can't wait just to not have to think about it for a week. So I can down tools, down bags, and just crack on with having a good Christmas. So that's what I'll do. I might check in with you later on. I can't do any filming while I'm at a rugby match or I'm in the changing rooms. That's not fair on the players. It's kind of like privacy and all of that sort of stuff. So I won't be doing any of that. But we are off to Maidstone. I am off to Maidstone, as is my team. And we can only hope that we're going to have a good result. This year is special because the finals of the championships, if we go through to the championships, and at this point we are second in the league. We are playing Maidstone today, who are second from bottom. Don't take anything as gospel, because that breeds complacency, but we're hoping for a good result. However, what's happening is if we go through to the championships, the semi-finals and the finals are played at Twickenham. And for all of us, that would be a dream come true. So we're really, really hoping that we do well. We carry on doing well. I think we've played 10 matches and we've won 8. So we're doing really well. We just want to keep that up, and fingers crossed by April, May of next year, we could be playing at Twickenham, which would be absolutely awesome. Anyway, I've now got to get on the road and go because it's now 10 past 10. So have a good day, everybody. And by the time you read this or see this, it'll all be over because it'll probably be Sunday or Monday before I post. But I hope that gives you a bit of insight into what a therapist does in the lead up to a rugby match. It's a bit full on. I hope I've explained it clearly. Hope there was an element of interest. And have a good day, everyone. And I'll see you all soon.